What we do relative to drive and leadership parity is about 7% of all of our employees' bonuses. And I believe that if you really want to drive diversity and inclusion, you really have to hold companies and your employees hold me accountable to achieving those goals. And a quick way to do that is to put it in your performance metrics.
Okay, so let me ask you what I found one of the toughest issue is. How do you do that and still have a true meritocracy? So you have a supervisor who says, look, I've got a person who's a woman, who's a person of color, who is not getting the job done. I can't get rid of them because it'll hurt my numbers.
Yeah, this isn't about a us versus them or a lose versus a win. The work of inclusion is about including everyone, and that includes our majority counterparts at Intel as well as the women and underrepresented minorities. To do this work well, it requires everyone to be a part of this work. It's not about us versus them. It's about bringing everybody along.
All right, Barbara Whye of Intel, thank you so much. It was a real pleasure to catch up with you.
Thank you as well.
And as I mentioned, Barbara's going to be part of a panel discussion at Bloomberg's Business Equality Summit later this morning. You can watch full coverage of the event by going to LiveGo on your terminal. And coming up, the global oil market awaiting a decision on Iran. What I'm watching, shocker, the oil curve. But I'm going to tell you why it's so important. More next. This is Bloomberg.
You won't see these folks at the post office. They have businesses to run. They have passions to pursue. How do they avoid trips to the post office? Stamps.com. Mail letters. Ship packages. All the amazing services of the post office right on your computer. Get a 4-week trial plus $100 in extras, including postage and a digital scale. Go to stamps.com/TV and never go to the post office again.
Joseph A. Bank Super Tuesday sale. Save up to 70% off almost everything. All suits on sale starting at $199. All dress and sport shirts $39. Plus, take an extra 50% off all clearance and go wherever the moment takes you. The Super Tuesday sale, only at Joseph A. Bank.
This is news, but not as you know it. This is TikTok by Bloomberg, the first and only global news network built for Twitter. Objective reporting that you can trust. Curated comments that provide insight. TikTok by Bloomberg, 24/7 news, streaming live on Twitter.
Is going to be oil and the decision by President Trump at 2 p.m. on what he's going to do about Iran. But the what I'm watching, I'm trying to get specific, and that's the crude curve. So CCRB Go, you see the re-rating in the front end of the curve. You have geopolitical risk from Venezuela, from Iran, and also a stronger demand. But where are we going to see the most action on the curve? If you make the argument that no matter what we hear today, this is just going to highlight increased tension in the Middle East, Syria, Libya, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Venezuela, this is a long-term issue, not a short-term how much Iran can export.
Has it moved over the last week? As news has trickled out?
No, not as much. And I wonder if it's going to at some point, and how much and where. Because where will tell you also the longer term effect in the market. So that's what I'm watching. And
You'll be reporting on.
I hope so, yeah. That wraps up for Bloomberg Daybreak Americas. And coming up on Bloomberg Markets, The Open, he's back, Mohamed Arian. Bloomberg opinion columnist will be joining John Ferry. You don't want to miss that conversation. And in the markets, all on tenterhooks, waiting for President Trump's Iranian decision.
For a hotel that fits your budget, TripAdvisor now searches over 200 sites to find you the hotel you want at the lowest price. Grazie, Gino. Find a price that fits. TripAdvisor.
You name it, you aim it, grime is gone. Get set to do your dirty work with the SPX 3000 electric pressure washer from Sunjoe. Packed with 14.5 amps of pure cleaning power, SPX 3000 delivers up to 2,030 PSI to demolish even the most stubborn gunk and grime. Pump up to 1.76 gallons per minute to get really clean, really fast. Tailor your spray to fit any cleaning task. 5 quick connect spray tips let you switch from pinpoint jet to gentle spray in a snap and give your cleaning blast a boost with SPX 3000's dual onboard detergent tanks. But don't just take our word for it. Check out over 3,000 5-star reviews that make SPX 3000 Amazon's #1 best-selling pressure washer. You name it, you aim it, grime is gone. From porch to patio, siding, sidewalks, auto, deck, and driveway, your dirty jobs just got done. SPX 3000 from Sunjoe. Available at sunjoe.com and these fine retailers.
We wanted to sell our home and at the best price, and we needed a real estate agent who could get that done. We're so glad we found HomeLight. HomeLight ranks over 1 million agents based on their actual track record. They crunch the numbers to figure out who is best in your neighborhood, who can sell your home for the most money. HomeLight matched us with Alex. He sold our home in only 2 days for $40,000 over asking. When it's time to sell, the place to go is HomeLight.com.
If you have Spectrum Internet, then you have Spectrum Wi-Fi, which means you have access to over 500,000 hotspots nationwide. Just search for Spectrum or cable Wi-Fi in your network settings and sign in with your username and password. Once logged in, your device will connect the next time you're at a Spectrum Wi-Fi hotspot. Now you have unlimited data with no speed throttling. Take your internet with you with Spectrum Wi-Fi.
It's about getting to where you need to go and where you want to be. It's about the most competitive jet card in the industry. And it's about our Assure safety standard and our hands-on service. Jets.com. The sky is yours.
From New York City for our viewers worldwide, I'm Jonathan Ferro. 30 minutes until the start of trading. This is the countdown to the open. Coming up, decision day for the Iran nuclear deal. European officials scrambling to convince the president to stick with it. Don't blame the Fed. Chair Powell saying the influence of its policy on global financial conditions is overstated. And prepare for 4% 10-year Treasury yields. That's the message from JP Morgan chief Jamie Dimon. In the markets then, 30 minutes away from the opening bell, the story shaping up as follows. A very marginal decline on S&P 500 futures, down 2 points and change, off by 0.1%. In the FX market, that dollar strength story sticks across most of G10. Euro dollar back to 118.66. And in the commodity market, it's decision day for crude and for the Iran nuclear deal. Markets bracing for President Trump's ruling on that deal following years of harsh criticism.
It is one of the dumbest deals and one of the weakest contracts I've ever seen of any kind.
Both of our countries know the threat.
The whole thing is absolutely insane.
The Iran nuclear deal was designed to be too big to fail.
The Iran deal was one of the worst and most one-sided transactions the United States has ever entered into.
We all recognize the JCPOA was an imperfect arms control agreement.
We're not going to sign deals where we have 4 prisoners over there and they're still there.
Okay. It's May 8th, 2018. It's 9:01 a.m. As you have noticed, I usually start off in the very beginning saying what the time and the date is, but this always seems to happen when I'm jumping in the shower. So I just got out of the shower. We're looking out of the window of 255 West 43rd Street, apartment 602. Looking direction northwest at the Twin Chimneys, operated by John's Pizzeria, located at 260 West 44th Street. Part of the reason I'm taking these photos, these videos, is to prove to the DEP some of their inspectors are not doing their job and just showing up and stating there's no smoke. It's just ridiculous. Just as you can see, is not true. Okay, it's now, again, once again, it's May 8th, 2018, 9:11 a.m. We're going to check the Bloomberg in a second. This is my iPhone X. I'm using this to confirm what we already know, that today is May 8th, 2018. Okay, so let me zoom out. Let's look at the Bloomberg. It's my MacBook, TV.
For tuition? Why did she borrow $19,400 for room and board? Why did she borrow $1,100 for student fees and
Okay, as you see, May 8th, Bloomberg, 9:12. Just going to show you. Here's the MacBook. HP, I forgot. So here's my camera. It's Nikon D3400. Okay, let's take this back. Twin Towers of Pain here. Okay, so I'm just going to show once again, this is Bloomberg TV, channel 30, Time Warner Spectrum, May 8th, 9:14 a.m. I'll show you my
higher synchronized global growth. And that is proving to be more difficult because of the lack of policies, especially in Europe.
See, this is what I think is really interesting here, Mohammed. Many people have sat around the table with me over the last year and talked about synchronized global growth, but you're calling this coincidental global growth, as if it's just a happy coincidence on a regional basis. Walk me through the thinking on that.
Yeah, it's a happy and lucky coincidence. So if you look at where growth has come from and why we've gotten this synchronized pickup, it's been for different reasons that have different durability. In the US, it's policy driven. It's about the response to deregulation and the tax cuts. In Europe, It's the result of a natural healing process. Think of a patient coming out of hospital. They can walk, but they're still structurally impaired, so they cannot run. It's a once and for all improvement. In the key emerging economies other than China, Brazil, India, Russia, it's a bounce back. Brazil from politics, India from demonetization, and Russia from the commodity shock. And in China, it's the soft landing. So if you look at it, it was a happy coincidence. It resulted in a synchronized growth, but you don't get it over and over again unless the policy effort steps up. And that's what investors should be asking. What are the prospects for policies, pro-growth policies in Europe in particular?
So why does this matter so much for the sustainability, Mohammed? Why can't this just feed on itself? Why does this ultimately have to disappoint?
So it feeds on itself in the beginning, but if you don't continuously put more fuel to the growth engine, it will peter out. And there's a danger that the US ends up having to do too much of the heavy lifting for the global economy. So we are at a global, at a very